how to prepare for Calculus 2 without burning out. Probably by now we are in the phase that we are approaching the next semester and you're probably gonna take Calculus 2 that semester. I guess this is the perfect video for you, as I will be discussing here what you should probably be doing right now before the semester starts, probably some tips during the semester that you take Calculus 2. So let's begin. First is the Big Three pre-semester preparation. So these are three things that you could or you should probably focus on right now before the semester starts. This involves trigonometry refresher, algebraic manipulation, and Calculus 1 fundamentals. Let's go over each one by one. For the trigonometry refresher, first here is the unit circle. So make sure that you know this by heart. So this is just the upper half of the unit circle, since I lacked space to involve the lower half. But basically, you should know by heart that when you are asked what is like sine pi over 3, you should be able to answer that it is square root of 3 over 2. What is cosine pi? It is -1. So you should be able to be comfortable with those things and be able to answer them in an instant, or at least like fast enough. Okay, so make sure of this one. Next here are identities. So there are plenty of identities in trigonometry, but I believe that these three are the most important, at least for Calculus 2. First are the Pythagorean identities. There are three here, but all you need to do is to remember this one, sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta equal to 1. Since from there on, you'll just apply reciprocal identities out here to obtain the other versions of it. Next is the double angle identities. There are, I think, 6, if I'm not mistaken, or more, or maybe 5 here. But I think you can derive those with just using this formula out here. So make sure to memorize this. So the first one is sine 2 theta equal to 2 sine theta cosine theta. And the next one is cosine 2 theta equal to cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta. Last but not the least is the half angle identities. I think you can derive this from the double angle identity of cosine 2 theta, applying Pythagorean identities. But if you can't, if you don't know how to do that, make sure to remember these two identities. Okay, so they would also be important. So these three are the identities that you probably need to memorize, or at least familiarize with. Okay, but if you can memorize the other identities, then nothing's stopping you from doing that. So that's the first in the Big Three pre-semester preparation. Next is the algebraic manipulation. So this involves three things. First is the partial fraction decomposition. You must be able to learn the skill that if you are given a fraction wherein the denominator is not linear, or is probably a quadratic or higher, you must be able to decompose it into multiple fractions wherein the denominator is obtained from the factored form of the original denominator. Okay, so that's I think I said that quite complicated, but basically you have a fraction, you decompose it into 2 or more fractions. So this will be important in obtaining antiderivatives or integrals. Okay, so take note of that one. And then next is completing the square. Basically, you must be able to convert a certain quadratic expression into an expression that involves e square plus or minus another constant. Okay, so that is completing the square. And then last is a polynomial long division. You must be able to obtain, given a rational expression or a fraction wherein the numerator is of higher degree, you must be able to divide that using the denominator to obtain the quotient and its remainder. Okay, So these are three algebraic manipulations that you must be able to be comfortable with or master upon entering calculus 2. Okay, so practice these, and yeah, I warned you, so yeah, just practice these, so since you will encounter them for sure. Whew. Okay, so last one is the calculus 1 fundamentals. Technically, everything that you learn from calculus 1 must be brought in calculus 2, but I think these two are the most important. So first are derivatives, or the basic derivative techniques or rules. So for instance, if you encounter e raised to 3x squared, question is, can you easily differentiate this? Can you easily obtain that this is equal to, if I'm not mistaken, 6x times e raised to 3x squared? So if you can do that, then that's great. Do you remember the product rule, the quotient rule, the power rule, whatever rules there are, chain rule? So you need to be comfortable with those things upon entering calculus 2, since you will be applying them non-stop. Okay. The next is basic integrals. So what I mean by this one is that if you encounter like integrals, basic integrals, let's put it, how do we put it? In calculus 2, you will still encounter integrals, and what I want to point out here is that the formulas, the basic formulas for certain functions, like for instance, integral of sine x, integral of tangent x, integral of dx over x, and integral of e raised to x. Do you know the antiderivatives of these by heart? If not, you need to check your formulas again, try to familiarize yourself with them or memorize them, and so on. So that is what I mean by basic integrals. And even the techniques like use substitution, or like splitting techniques that is done in calculus 1, you need those things upon entering calculus 2. Okay. One special mention here is, of course, limits. Limits is everywhere, so just be familiar with it. Okay. So those are the big 3 pre-semester preparation. Aside from focusing on reviewing these stuff, you also need to gather your weapons starting right now, so that when you start the calculus 2 course, you'll have your tools. Okay, so I break this down into 2 parts: the big guns and the small guns. For the big guns, I am pertaining to the book resources. Sometimes you won't really need this, but it's best to have this just in case that you get lost and you want an in-depth explanation of certain things. The books are always the best choices. So here are 3 good choices. First is this Calculus Early Transcendentals by Anton, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but I think it's Bivens or Bivens and Davis. Okay, this is a good book. And then next is TC7 by Leithold or Leithold. Many refer to this as like the Bible of calculus, since this does not only contain calculus 2, it contains calculus 1, calculus 2, and calculus 3. By the way, the same goes for this one. As far as I can remember, this involves all the calculus courses. Yeah, so make sure to obtain a copy of this one. And then last is this, the Calculus Early Transcendentals by Stewart. Okay, if you're wondering where to obtain this, sometimes you can find them online, or if you can like buy a copy, then much better. But you can try to search it online. It might pop out somewhere, a PDF copy of it. Okay, so those are the big guns. If you if you're not a fan of reading books, here are small guns or small tools that you can use instead. So these are online resources that I highly recommend for you to check out. First is Paul's online math notes. So you can find this if you search Paul's online math notes online. This is like the gold standard for written notes and practice problems in calculus. In calculus in general. So this is a calculus 2 video. So I screenshotted. Is that a word? It incorrectly since I took a picture of calculus 1 instead of calculus 2, but you get the point. He also have calculus 2 stuff out there. Next is Professor Leonard's YouTube channel, specifically this playlist or this course on calculus 2, so you can check it out. His calculus 2 playlist is legendary. If you don't understand your professor, I believe that Professor Leonard will save you. Just take note that his videos are quite long, so maybe you can watch at 1.5 times speed, just to speed things up. Third is 3 Blue 1 Brown YouTube channel, specifically this playlist on, or this course on essence of calculus. This is a good course since it helps you understand the concepts more intuitively rather than just memorizing the formula. And last but not the least is the Pieman YouTube channel. I know it shouldn't be included since I'm just building up my channel, but hey, you can comment down below what you want to see on my channel, and at least in that way I can give back and help you in your calculus 2 journey or calculus in general. Okay, so those are the small guns. And last tip is for the battle or during your calculus 2 journey, here are some tips that I can give. So this involves the diagnostics trick and the sandwich review method. So first, focus on diagnostics, not just solving. Like for instance, in this list of integrals, instead of like solving them one by one, although if time permits, then why not? You should start by practicing your diagnostics skills. So what I mean by that is, can you determine what method to use? So in calculus 2, there are methods like integration by parts, partial fraction decomposition, trigonometric integrals, trigonometric substitution. So can you spot which of these uses those methods? So why do we need to do this? Well, because in the exam, the hardest part is not actually the solving, but it's actually choosing the right tool to use. Once you are like an expert in choosing the right tool to use, then everything just flows smoothly. And then lastly, the sandwich review method. So this is a 3-step method that you can do in every class session that you have. So first 5 minutes, first is 5 minutes before class. Make sure to scan the section in your textbook or in your lecture notes or like module, and check the definitions at that specific lecture. Not only the definitions, maybe the results, the theorems, corollaries, or propositions, as well as some examples, just to prime your brain of what to expect during the lecture. Then during class time, make sure to not only copy everything that the professor gives, make sure that in every like example, proofs, or solutions, you take note what is the key step, mark it on your notes, put a star in it, highlight it, whatever. Since these are the key steps are the important things that you should remember, as key steps are usually what appears during the exam. Just different example during the exam, but or different like item, but the key steps are always like present. So highlight these things. And then lastly, 30 minutes after class, make sure to attempt 3 practice problems immediately. Okay, so calculus 2 and calculus in general, the concepts evaporate quickly if not reinforced, since again, math or calculus is a is a sport. So you just can't be successful in it just by looking at it. You need to be doing it and practicing it by yourself. And yeah, so that is how to prepare for Calculus 2 without burning out. Probably at this time, since we're just approaching the semester, take the time to rest, take the time to break, but make sure to crush it when the semester starts. So yeah, so I hope you enjoy that one. Thanks. Have a nice day.